Hey Heidi, how's it going?
Hello, nice to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you. How's life?
Yesterday and today I needed to go to the Chris already mentioned. No, therapist changed my cast. Before my cast was covered and over my elbow.
Uh-huh.
Then my elbow the angle was fixed and in right angle, right?
Uh-huh. Right angle.
Then
So it's like
yesterday,
this, right?
yes, that's right, always.
Right angle is like that, like an L.
For
Uh-huh.
for 4 weeks. And yesterday he changed my kind of bandage cast.
Mm-hmm.
Shorter one. Now we can see the elbow. So I can bend and stretch my elbow, but very
Mm-hmm.
pain.
Nice, that's good. So he fixed your cast, so now it's going to be, is that going to make your is that going to expedite how quickly it heals, or will it just be is it something for your comfort,
Mm.
I guess? Like what's the benefit of changing the angle? I actually don't know.
I can reach anywhere. Before,
Oh, okay.
for example, I can't scratch my back right. But
Oh, okay, okay, okay. I see, I see. So it allows,
mm,
yeah, it
but
allows you to be a
but
little bit more mobile.
but the elbow and around this muscle is very painful now.
Hmm.
Mm.
Because it was not moving for so long, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, that's understandable. I know sometimes that happens, but it's good that you have a clinic nearby that can help you out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Eka, how's it going?
Hi, it's going good. Today is my Saturday, so I plan to go and eat some grilled shrimp with my wife after
Uh-huh.
this lesson.
Fantastic, fantastic. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, right?
Yes, it's 9 o'clock in the morning.
Nice, nice. You guys are exactly 12 hours switched from us. So
Oh,
we're,
so
yeah.
so it is 9 in the evening in New York.
Yeah, in Madison. I'm in Madison,
Oh, Madison.
Wisconsin.
Okay.
Yeah. No worries. It's actually 10 p.m. in the evening in New York right now. So they
Oh,
are they
okay.
are 11 hours, yeah, difference. Or I should say 13 hours maybe. I don't know. One of the two. So that's great. That's great. And hey, Gregory, how's it going?
Hello, hello everybody. Hello, Farhan. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you as well. It's been a long time.
I was in vacation
Where'd you go?
a lot.
Oh, in the south, right?
Yes, it's great sea.
Mhm. The Red Sea, yeah, the Red Sea has a lot going on. Very beautiful part of the country, I think.
Yes, it's coral reef, coral reef in the sea.
Hmm. That's awesome. Do you guys hear an echo? Is it from me, guys?
Yes, I hear an echo, but I don't know
I'm
where it
sorry, I already
comes
mute
from.
myself.
I'm sorry?
I always mute myself, so it's not my computer.
Yeah, I don't know whose it is, guys. Let me mute myself very quickly.
Hello, Tess. I can still
Yeah,
hear the echo.
Eka, I think it might be
Maybe you
yours.
are.
Yeah. I'm not sure though. It's okay. It's okay right now. It's not a problem for me, but maybe later on we might need to change it, Eka. Maybe if you refresh or something like that. Um, oh, okay. Thanks, Eka. Oh, I still hear it. One sec.
Hello? Is hello? Yeah,
Yeah, I hear
I
it.
can still
I
hear it.
I still hear it. Yeah. So, Gregory, could you please check real quick if it's echoing from yours by any chance?
I mute myself, okay?
Hello? Okay. No echo now.
Yeah, I didn't hear it that time.
I
Yes.
also don't hear it.
Yeah, so Gregory, I think it might be your machine uh, that's echoing. Not sure, but let's see. Uh, okay, so anyway, guys, sorry about that little technical difficulty. Uh, Gregory, if you close the window and you come back, if you log back in, maybe the echo will go away, right? Okay, guys.
Okay, I tried.
Okay, fantastic. I don't hear it right now, which is good. So hey, Liliana, how's it going?
Hi, Farham. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you fine.
All's going good. Thank you. How's your day
Nice.
going?
Pretty good, pretty good. It was nice. Very quiet. Went shopping for food today.
Uh-huh.
I didn't have any food at home, so
I know.
no, I got rice and beans and stuff like that. All kinds of food.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And do you like to cook?
I do actually. With nobody at home now, I mean, because I live alone, so I have to cook, clean, everything myself.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good that I'm learning everything, you know. I have to adjust and live by myself, so
Ah, yes, it's good.
yeah.
I think it's good to live alone for some time, for, what can I say? Not for at least 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
I think it's a good experience for everyone.
I agree 100%. Marcelo, tudo beleza?
Tudo beleza, professor?
Everything's good here too.
Yeah, very quiet.
Tudo bem, or tudo bom.
Tudo bem.
Tudo
Tudo bem.
bem, tudo bem. Great. Fantastic, welcome. So, are we all here, guys? I think Heidi may have left. She was originally in the class, but we can get started, guys. So, today our article is, our lesson is going to be about looking at comparatives and superlatives, right? So these are two ways that we compare, or that we make different kinds of comparisons in English, right? So that's going to be the first part of the lesson. We're going to focus on adjectives and how we turn adjectives into comparatives and superlatives. Then in the second part of the lesson, we are going to be looking at our article. And today's article is actually very interesting for me because it focuses on a country that we don't hear a lot about. Don't hear a lot of good things about, at least, you know. And that country is Afghanistan. We're going to learn about a new water park in Afghanistan that is bringing a lot of joy to people in that country. So it's the happy side of things, you know. It's not going to be about burning down forests or medicine or fast food, you know, things like that. Those are usually my topics, right? So it's going to be something more fun today. So let's get started, guys, with comparatives, right? So when we use comparatives in English, we are comparing one thing to another thing, right? That's all they do. And even by looking at the word comparative, you can tell, you know, it's comparing two things, comparative, right? You form a comparative from an adjective. That's always the case, right? And the ways that we make different comparatives are actually based on how many syllables we find in the adjectives, right? So how long the adjectives are, and essentially how many syllables they have, right? That's what determines how we make them. So we have a lot of adjectives in English that are one syllable, right? Big, small, tall, you know, all of these adjectives, if we want to make them into comparatives, we only have to add ER to the end, right? So for one syllable adjectives, we add an ER to the end of the word, and that's it, really. There's no other thing to know about. The only thing I would say is sometimes, because of spelling, we might duplicate the very last letter, right? So usually, well, actually, most of the time we do if the word ends in a consonant, right? So tall becomes taller, right? That one doesn't have one because it already has two L's at the end. But let's say big becomes bigger, so we have BIG and then GER, right? So that's how we use That's how we make comparatives from one-syllable adjectives. Any questions on that one, guys?
No.
That one makes sense. Can you guys quickly each give me one example of a one-syllable comparative? Let's start with Eka on the left. Yeah.
Maybe fatter. I am fatter than my wife.
Fantastic. I'm fatter than my wife, right? F-A-T and then T-E-R. So in that case, we have the last syllable or the last letter is being duplicated, right? Fatter.
Yes.
And let's go to this time. Let's go to Gregory.
Bigger. This house is bigger than that.
Fantastic, right? This house is bigger than that one, right? Or this house is bigger than that. Bigger. Liliana.
Drier.
Uh-huh. And then how would you maybe use that in a sentence? Yeah.
And then this area is or this season is drier than the previous one.
Yeah, this season or this winter, let's say, is drier than last year's winter, right? So this one we see a specific type of. This is actually the very next type of one-syllable comparative that we'll look at, right? If if a adjective ends in y, then we change the letter y to an I, and we add er, right? So that becomes drier, right? So something is drier than something else. And last but not, yeah, go ahead, Liliana.
How can we know when we have to duplicate the final consonant?
Very good question. You know, it's just based on spelling, really, right? And also you could think about it if when you're actually pronouncing the word, right? Because if you're saying, you know, bigger, right? When you hear the word bigger, there should be two G's, right? So that's an easy way to think of it also. But really, it's just a spelling thing. Yeah.
Okay.
And Marcelo.
Yep.
Could you give us an adjective or a one-syllable comparative, like we've seen bigger, fatter, drier?
Could it be beautiful?
Well, we have to start with an adjective that only has one syllable, right? So, for example, yeah, and then we can add er to the end.
Okay.
So, for example, what's the opposite of tall?
Taller.
Yeah, taller works, right? But when we look at the opposite of tall, the opposite is short, right?
Short. Small.
No, well, yeah, short works. Short is also good. Short is the opposite, right? So how would we make short into a comparative? How do we make short into, like we did, tall became taller, short becomes...
I have a shorter time than... Today I have shorter time than 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, in that case we have to use less time, right? Because time we have to use less or more. But in this case, it'll be shorter, right? So if we just want to, if we're just comparing people, right? You know, you are taller than me, right? She is shorter than me, right? So short becomes shorter. So we just add that er to the end. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, fantastic. Any more questions on that, guys?
No.
Okay, great. So let's move on now. So this is something that we looked at when we heard the example from Liliana, right? And that is if we have an adjective, a one-syllable adjective that ends in, well, actually in this case, that's interesting. They don't actually label this as something that is as a special case. But we do see if an adjective ends in y, right? If it's a two-syllable adjective that ends in y, then we change the y to an I and we add er, right? So for a two-syllable adjective that ends in y, we change the y to an I and we add er, right? So let's see, two-syllable comparative construction, right? So if it's a two-syllable comparative, then, okay, if it's a two-syllable adjective, I'm sorry, right? So what's an example of an adjective with two syllables? That ends in y. It has to also end in y, right? So for example,
Happy.
Happy, yeah, fantastic, right? Happy is an example, right? So how would you make happy into a comparative then, Liliana?
Instead of Y, I write I-E-R.
Exactly.
Funny.
Funny, right? Funny, the same thing. So, but Liliana, how would we pronounce that new word, that new comparative?
Happier.
Happier, right? So I am happier than my sister, right? Happier. And Marcelo, we said funny, right? How do we make
Yeah.
funny into a comparative then?
I am funnier than my brother.
Fantastic. Funnier than my brother, right? So that Y at the end of funny, we take it out and we put an I-E-R at the end. That's it, right? So happy, funny, right? Eka, what's another example?
I I don't have any idea now.
Okay, what's the opposite of clean?
Dirtier.
Dirtier, right? Yeah. Something is dirty. This is dirtier than my room is dirtier than my sister's
His room.
room. Than
Okay.
his room, whatever. Yeah, whatever situation, right? And let's hear from Gregory as well, Gregory. What's an example of another
Smoothly.
one of these?
Smoothly. This line smoother than that line.
This line is, I'm sorry, what was the
Smoothly.
word?
Smoothly.
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 I don't think that one works actually because remember, smoothly is an adverb, right? We are looking just at
It's
an
not an
adjective.
adjective. It's an adjective too, I think.
Are you talking about smoothly like this?
Yes.
No, that's an adverb, right? Because this is describing, for example, if you're saying this line is moving more smoothly or smoothly, right? It's describing the verb move, so it's actually an adverb in this case, right? Smooth is an adjective, right? So if you want to say this, like maybe the surface of something is smooth, right? This surface is smoother than the other surface, right? So we could use smooth can become smoother, but this is one of the examples we saw before, right? Where it's one syllable.
Okay, moody.
Moody, right? Fantastic. How do we make moody into a comparative?
This woman moodier than other woman.
Fantastic. Fantastic, right? This woman is moodier than the other woman, right? What does it mean when we say someone is moody? Liliana, do you know? Or, yeah, go ahead, Gregory. Yeah.
All time change mood.
Yeah, right? Someone who changes their mood a lot, right? Someone who's maybe angry in the morning and then happy at night and then angry again. You know, it's that kind of situation, right? So someone is moody, someone can be moodier, right? He's so much more moodier than her, right? So they have different personalities, right? So that's how we make these examples, right? So we take the Y, replace it with an IER for any adjective that is two syllables and ends in Y, right? Funny, happy, dirty, moody, silly, right? All these examples. Any questions on that one, guys?
No. How do you pronounce moodier?
Moodier, yeah, moodier.
Moodier.
Yeah. Fantastic, right? Okay, great. So then let's move on to a little bit more complicated example here. If we have an adjective that is two or more syllables, right? So for example, we heard from Marcelo earlier in the class, we heard beautiful, right? Beautiful has beautiful, three adjectives, right? And it doesn't end, or I'm sorry, three syllables, and it doesn't end in Y, right? So for all of these examples where we have two or more syllables, right? So it could also have two syllables, if it doesn't end in Y, then this is the rule that we follow, right? What's another example? Let's say useful, right? Useful, beautiful, right? Three syllables and two syllables, but they don't end in Y. So how do we make comparatives with these words? We simply add the word more in front of them, right? She is more beautiful than my wife. You don't want to say that because then you get divorced, right? But no, I'm just joking. She is more beautiful than, that supermodel, right? Or my wife is more beautiful than that supermodel. That's the right way to say it, right? Then, for example, this is a more useful lesson than the other lesson, right? So more useful, more beautiful, more interesting, right? More boring, right? All these different examples, 2 or more syllables, and they don't end in Y. We just add more to the beginning, right? Let's see if we can practice this. Marcelo, let's start with you on the right. Marcelo, you there? I think maybe Marcelo's not there. Liliana, do you mind starting?
Okay. This couch is more comfortable than the oldest.
Fantastic. This couch is more comfortable than the others, right? So for all of these 2 or more adjectives not ending in Y, right, just put more at the beginning. And you did a great job with that, right? So this couch is more comfortable than that one, and then the others, right? Let's hear from you, Gregory.
This speech more sophisticated than other speeches.
Fantastic, right? This speech is more sophisticated than the other speeches, right? So sophisticated, that's a great adjective, right? How many types or how many syllables do we have? Sophisticated, 5, right? 5 syllables, and so we use more at the beginning, right? And Eka, let's hear from you as well.
You are more knowledgeable in English than me.
You are more knowledgeable in English than me, right? And how many syllables does knowledgeable have, Eka?
4 syllables.
Fantastic, right? Knowledgeable, 4 syllables, right? So for this one, also because it doesn't end in Y, we can go ahead and add more to the beginning, right?
I have one question for the word smart. Is it smarter or more smart?
What do you think?
I guess it should be smarter.
It is.
So this word is an exception for this rule, right?
Well, how many syllables does smart have?
Smart, 2.
No, it actually just has 1.
1?
Yeah, smart. Smart.
Okay.
Just 1,
okay.
very quick.
Smart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right? We know, I remember one time, I love syllables because they're so interesting. When I was growing up, when I first learned about syllables in 1st grade, okay, one of my friends, this guy is so funny. He was the guy in class who always made jokes, right? So somebody in our class said, or I think the teacher asked, how many syllables are in moon, right? He said 2. And it was so funny because we were trying to think, like, how could you say moon has 2 syllables? And the way he pronounced it was moon. You know, so he was a complete, you know, he loves to always make jokes. But for those words that are kind of short, right, Eka, we want to just pronounce them as one group, right? So smart, for example, right? Because we don't really make a break or a pause between the first part and the second part of the sentence. So
okay.
Yeah, right. So smart would be just 1 syllable. How about, let me give you another example of a word like that. What about main? Like, this is the main problem. What do you think that one would be?
Main, just 1 syllable.
Yeah, main is also just 1, right? Because sometimes folks might think it's main, but no, it's just main, right? So we have to be careful about that. So great question, Eka. Any other questions, guys, about these adjectives?
No.
No.
Everything's good? Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. So let's go, guys, with the next type of lesson, or the next type of comparative, right? So before actually I move on, I do want to say that there are some irregular cases, right? And these irregular cases are when we see, for example, a word that is, both of these are actually 1-syllable words, right? So for the word good, Eka, what's the comparative for good?
Better.
Better, right? So we don't say gooder, right? We don't say other words. We say better, right? And Gregory, what's the comparative for bad?
Worse.
Worse, right? Exactly. So good and bad become better and worse, right? Fantastic. Hey, Marcelo, welcome back.
Thank you. How long
So-
time?
Yeah, just a couple minutes, I think.
Just kidding.
So, just a question for you, Marcelo. Could you give us an example of a two-syllable adjective that ends in a Y and then make it into a comparative?
2 syllables or 3 syllables?
2 or more syllable, actually. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Okay, so how would you make beautiful?
I'm more beautiful than Brad Pitt.
Fantastic. I'm more beautiful than Brad Pitt, right? Good, right? But actually, in that case, though, beautiful makes perfect sense, right? But for men, we actually want to say handsome.
Handsome. I thought to say handsome, but I thought that I could make a mistake saying handsome.
No. Handsome is what we use for men.
It's better. Okay.
Yeah. So handsome for men and then beautiful for women, right?
It's a serious mistake?
It's not a serious mistake. No. You can say either one, but
I don't know if I am a woman or a man. I'm just kidding.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, but you can use both then. You can use any. You can use most. Most people. It doesn't matter. But girls, I think after they reach, after they become women, people say beautiful. Handsome, they exclusively use for men.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, handsome, they exclusively use for men. So
I am more handsome than the Brad Pitt.
Exactly. I'm more handsome than Brad Pitt, right? Yeah, Liliana, go ahead.
Attractive, you can use in both sex.
Absolutely. Attractive you can use for both genders without any problems, right? He is more attractive than Brad Pitt. She is more attractive than Angelina Jolie. Any examples like that, right? So, great. Now, guys, I'm actually going to finish with the comparatives and we're going to move to the superlatives, right? So when we use superlatives, right, we are trying to compare one thing to many things, right? With the word comparative, or with the comparatives, we were just focusing on one word comparing with another, right? Or one thing being compared to another thing. It's just a one-to-one relationship. Superlatives, we have one thing that we're comparing to a lot of other things, right? So think about it this way. For example, like Superman, that's the best way that I think about it, right? Superman is the strongest person in the world, right? Superman, superlative, strongest, right? You're saying someone is better than everything else, right? So in that example then, how do we make superlatives for different kinds of adjectives, right? If it's a one-syllable adjective, just like we saw before, right? If it's a one-syllable adjective, then we simply add est to the end of the adjective, right? And you also have to put a the at the beginning or a the at the beginning, right? So for one-syllable adjective, let's say for strong, right? Strong is one-syllable adjective, right? He is the strongest man in the world, right? He is the, and then strongest, est at the end, right? The adjective and then est. He is the strongest person in the world, right? What are some other examples? Eka, let's start with you, please.
He is the tallest man in the class.
Fantastic, right? He is the tallest man in the class, right? How about you, Gregory?
He is coolest boy in our area.
He is the coolest boy in our area, right? Fantastic. He's the coolest boy in our area. Liliana.
This is the worst film I've ever seen.
Fantastic. This is the worst film I've ever seen. So worst is one of those exceptions, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So which adjective is worst based on?
Bad.
Bad, right? Fantastic. So with bad, we don't say baddest, right? We say worst, right? Fantastic. And then Marcelo, what's another example that you can give me?
I'm the most intelligent guy at Colingo.
Fantastic. I'm the most intelligent person at Colongo. But in this case, though, we are talking just about a one-syllable adjective, right? So let's think of just a one-syllable adjective. A very short word that's an adjective.
Let me think.
Sure, that's fine. for example, we said short before, right? Short would work, or smart, right? Smart is also one syllable.
Yeah, but I would say I am the smart.
Well, we
The
have to
smartest. Yeah, I am the smartest person.
on Colingo, right? Fantastic, right? I am the smartest person on Colingo, right? So yes, the, and then the adjective, and then est. Any questions on that, guys?
No.
No.
Makes sense. Okay, great. So then now let's move on to the next one then. So if it's a two-syllable adjective that ends in y, right? Then how do we change it? Well, we replace the y with an I, and we add est, right? So, Echo, would you mind giving us an example of that one?
I am the happiest person in the world.
I am the happiest person in the world, right? I would take that over being the smartest person on Colingo. Right? I think it's a much better position to be in, right? I'm the happiest person in the world. Fantastic, fantastic. And
But they say I'm the said.
how many? Well, let's look at this one, right? How many syllables is sad?
One.
One, right? So we would use our old rule here for one syllable. Just add est, and we would also have to duplicate the d. So it becomes we have to add another d. So it becomes saddest, right?
Saddest. Okay.
Yeah, I'm the saddest person in the world. Yeah, that I would not want to be, fortunately. And okay, so Gregory, can you give us an example of one of these two-syllable adjectives that end in y?
She is silliest person that I know.
She is the silliest person that I know, right? Fantastic. She is the silliest person that I know. And then Liliana. Liliana, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, sorry.
I was muted, sorry. This is the funniest situation I had.
This is a funny situation I had, right? Or you can even say, because you're comparing something, when we use superlatives, we often use ever. This is the funniest situation I ever had. I ever had, right? Because superlative, really, it's like if you're asking somebody a question using a superlative, you want to know something that's really unique about their life, right? Like, what is the funniest thing you have ever seen, right? Who is the richest person you have ever met, right? So all these types of examples, a lot of times we use ever when we're making these sentences, right? So, yeah, great job with that one as well. Let us then, guys, what about if it's a two or more syllable adjective that doesn't end in y? Eka, what do you think we do for these?
We add most in front of it.
Yeah, we do. But there's actually one other word that we add to
The most.
The most, exactly, right? So we put the, and then most, and then we put the adjective, right? So this is for any two or more syllable adjective, right? So this entire lesson is really based on syllables of adjectives, right? That tells you what rule you should follow, right? There are some exceptions, but generally this lesson, the rules allow us to make the correct forms without problems, right? The rules are pretty good when it comes to English in this particular lesson. Eka, could you give us an example of this type of superlative?
Yes, maybe he is the most intelligent man in this class.
Yeah, you're talking about Marcelo, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. He is the most intelligent person in this class, right? We're talking about Marcelo. Marcelo is the most intelligent person in this class. And then, so Gregory, what about you?
This is most complicated rules in English.
These are the most complicated rules in English, right?
I think too.
Yeah. Really, you guys think this is bad?
No,
it's not that
only
bad.
for example.
Oh, okay. Good. I was thinking because I can always start homonyms and homographs and that lesson.
Okay.
I'm just joking. There's a lesson, if you guys haven't seen it, Eka and Gregory, there's another lesson called homonyms and homographs and heteronyms and whatever. It's a very complicated class just because of the vocabulary. You know, there's a lot going on. So, Liliana, go ahead, please.
and this is the most interesting book I've ever bought.
This is the most interesting book I have ever bought, right? Fantastic. And last but not least, let's hear from Marcelo.
The most? Mm,
The adjective can be 2 or more syllables, right? Yeah.
okay.
Uh-huh.
Could it be 2?
It could be 2 or more syllables as long as it doesn't end in Y. It can't end in Y.
For instance, she is the prettiest girl I have ever seen.
Well, that was the example we saw earlier, right? Because pretty was 2 syllables and it ends
Two
in
syllables.
Y. It ends in Y also, right? So when you said handsome before, handsome works in this one, right? 2 syllable, but it doesn't end in Y, right? So we are looking at 2 or more syllables, and Y cannot be the last letter, right? So handsome, intelligent,
Beautiful.
beautiful, yeah, any of those examples, right? So you could say, you can choose any of those.
Okay, because so I am the. She's the beautiful. She's the no. She's the beautiful woman. No, she's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen.
Fantastic. She's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, right? Great,
Yeah.
great, guys. So we have the most and then the adjective. And then before with the superlatives, we saw, other examples. We saw more, we saw more beautiful or whatever. Here we see the most beautiful, right? Any questions, guys, about this grammar lesson so far?
No.
Everything
No.
everything makes sense? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Great, guys. Let's move to this article then. Let's see where the link is. I need to find the link first. So once again, guys, the article, we're going to be looking at a water park that was designed in the city of Kabul, which is the capital of Afghanistan, right? And it's an interesting thing. I really like this story because it shows us something about this country that a lot of people may not know, right? People there also like to have fun. So here's the link, and I'm going to start screen sharing as well, guys, and we'll get started. So let's see, screen. All right, guys. Modern water park delights Afghans in war-weary Kabul. This is the capital, right? But no women allowed.
No.
Yeah, I know, Liliana, sorry. So all these guys just having fun, right? After the armed guards and body search at the door, it is almost easy to forget the fun is happening in ultra-conservative Afghanistan. Except all of the people leaping down the colorful slides and splashing in the water are men. Inside a nondescript building in central Kabul, residents of the battle-hardened capital have a new and unusual form of escape, a state-of-the-art water park, right? This place looks pretty nice. This place actually looks really nice, right? They have built a very good pool. I can't believe it, said one visitor, Fahim Mail, a company manager. The creators of the novel $5 million endeavor are among the few in Kabul not wringing their hands over Afghanistan's future after 2014, when foreign combat troops are due to leave. When we decided to build this place, we knew that 2014 was to come, said Mahmoud Najafi, one of Kabul Water Park managers and shareholders. For us, 2014 doesn't mean anything. Just over a year ago, Najafi and 3 partners pooled their cash to build the venue on a 2,300 square meter plot near the Parliament building. Right, so there's some kids also. In addition to towering slides, there is a huge wave pool eliciting noisy delight from the adult swimmers that one might expect from children visiting the beach for the first time. The men wear swim shorts, but no slingshot-style suits were in sight. In a city where the average wage is about $50 a week, a thriving middle class can afford the admission price of 500 Afghanis, which is $9. I'm really proud when I see such developments, said Fahim Khan, a 26-year-old university student. The popular facility, which can handle up to 1,000 customers at a time, also has a restaurant, whirlpool, sauna, and a lavish play area for young children, including girls who are allowed to mix with the opposite sex until the age of about 10. Right. So, kind of a short article, guys. The focus on this article is, I think, more the photos. You can see kind of what this place looks like and kind of the change that it's bringing to that country. What do you guys think about this article? What's your reaction? Eka, let's start with you.
Oh, I think it's unfair for the women that they are not allowed to go to this place. I think they should allow everybody in the country to pay the fee, enjoy the enjoyment, and have some happiness in this place.
Absolutely, right? Absolutely. And I think part of that, actually, why do you guys think that is? Why do you guys think there's no women allowed in this park as of now?
Religious topic, maybe related to religion.
Yeah.
Yes, I totally agree with Eka. Yes, I think I was wondering why they don't allow women, but yes, I think it is related to the religion or their customs.
Yeah, it is. It is. You know, they have religious authority there. You know, most of the people are more traditional. So what they could do maybe is they could maybe make a separate area for women. Maybe if this water park is very successful, then they can make another one maybe on the same land or maybe a little bit far away, using the same technology but make it for women, right?
And,
Yeah.
what happens if they mix both sex in this place? What will happen?
It would be very untraditional or very, it would be something different for the people there. I don't think they would allow it, actually. The people are too conservative for that because, maybe they can have a family area, but I mean, if it's a public pool, then some other guy's, wife is over there and you're here, you're wearing shorts, she's wearing a bathing suit. It's it's normal in a Western society, but it's not something that they are really open to. They like to keep, especially in this case, other areas are probably not so strict, like restaurants are free and things like that. But since this involves, not wearing clothes, it's a little bit more of a sensitive topic for them.
And when they go to the beach, how is the situation?
So Afghanistan actually doesn't have any beaches because they're landlocked. So there's no water, there's no ocean or water or anything. Maybe they have lakes, and honestly, from what I know from other Muslim countries, the women just go and they don't wear bathing suits. They don't swim in the water with anybody. Only if it's a women-only pool in a inside area or something like that, then they can swim. So it's a little bit different.
Very traditional society.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Gregory, what do you think about this article?
It's a very peaceful image after wars that happened in Afghanistan. It's happiest things I see. People just enjoy of water, and it's a great deal. I'm very happy.
Yeah, it's good to see, right? It's good to see that, even though these people are characterized as, third world, or they live in a country that has so many problems, right? That they still enjoy the same kind of things that we enjoy. Well, not the women, unfortunately, Liliana, but
Yeah,
30 years of wars, and now eventually it's peace. It's very, very good.
Yeah, at least in this area, right? It's considered peaceful. Nothing has happened here so far, which is good to know. Marcelo, what was your reaction to this article?
Yeah, I noticed that a woman cannot head inside of the park. So I think they are exacerbating their interpersonal relationship, and it's a kind of traditional religion of the place too. It's my
Yeah.
point of view.
Yeah, it is. It is. It definitely is part of the religious view that men and women, especially if they are unrelated, should not mix in general, and especially if it's a situation involving taking your clothes off or showing your skin, it's not appropriate to do that with anybody except your immediate family members, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's the reasoning I think behind that. But so you guys seem to be generally very happy about this, right? Would you guys think, they're saying in this article that most middle class Afghan people can afford to go to this park. It's only about $9 for the admission, right? Eka, do you think if they make a women's park nearby, or if they develop a women's park, do you think women would go, considering the society, or do you think women would still be suspicious of a park like this?
I think women wouldn't go there because they may feel uncomfortable to reveal some part of their bodies in public place like a big swimming pool. If Even though it is a woman only swimming pool.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, right. What about you guys? Let's hear from Gregory first.
I think women will go to this place. Why not? If it's a special place only for women, say not ashamed from each other, women from women. I don't know what you think. You understand that situation.
Well, yeah, I can share. I will share my opinion. I want to hear from you guys first, though. I liked what you said. I agree with both of you guys. I think it really depends on the woman, right? Let's hear from Liliana. Liliana is the only woman in the class. Maybe you have an idea, Liliana.
I think they maybe won't go because they are respectful with their religion and their traditions. And yes, I think it's maybe they don't feel good uh, wearing bathing suits and sharing with men because it's not yes, it's not they are not accustomed to do that. But maybe some young women that think a little different, or maybe I don't know. Maybe they would like to go to know what they feel to share the same place with many wearing bath suits.
Sure, 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 right? So, yeah, I think that's a really good point, Liliana. It depends. Maybe it depends on the women. Maybe the young women are more open to something like this and not the traditional-minded women. Uh, Marcelo, what do you think?
I am at a loss. I'm at a loss to say it. But
I
it's
mean,
strange. It's strange. I think it's a kind of freedom. The woman there don't have freedom. The man don't give the for a woman's freedom to get into the pool. It's like I said before. It's a sort of tradition and religion in my
hmm
point of view.
hmm No, I think all of the views you guys shared are very valuable, right? Um, from my perspective, if they were to have a women's only swimming pool, I think definitely I agree with Liliana, and I agree also with what we heard from Gregory. I think some women, like the young generation, the people, the young women in the city who are teenagers, or they have grown up after the American invasion, right? These girls would, I think, be very willing to try this out, right? maybe they would go and see what it's like, and then maybe they would actually continue going. But in terms of the operation of organizing this and making it something that could bring in money, I'm not 100% sure, right? Because they spent, what, $5 million designing this park for men, right? If they do something of a similar size for women, I don't know if it will be profitable. You know, if there are, this park can hold, I think they said 1,000 guests, right? I don't think 1,000 women will ever come at the same time to a water park of this size, right? Especially in a country like that. So maybe they can start small and then make it larger, depending on how much popularity they get. You know.
Yeah, I got it. Looking for the pictures, you see that it's not a large, huge park.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So they can maybe go with that approach because, I mean, there's nothing in the religion that says you can't swim, right? You can swim. It's just that you should do it with other women when there is no danger of somebody looking at you, you know, a man looking at you in a bad way, really. You know, that's the idea. So, but you guys, your perspectives were great. I mean, everything from freedom to, you know, the male-dominated society, right? I have seen, for example, in some countries, these kind of areas have women's security. They have even the people who work inside. Everybody is a woman, right? So they would have to organize it in that fashion also. So at the beginning, when somebody comes in, the guests, when they are checked by the police have to be women. The security has to be women. It's all women, right?
Yes, here we have some women that works in a security field area. Even we have women who drives public buses here.
Nice.
It's good, yeah.
It's
No
awesome.
drive. No drive.
Wait, Marcelo, what'd you say? I'm sorry.
Woman cannot drive, please. Cannot drive car.
Oh,
Really?
better than men.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. I like how you use the comparative, Liliana. Women drive better than men, right? That's awesome. Yeah, Eka, go ahead.
I have heard that some countries in the Middle East they are not allow women to drive a car.
There's only one country.
Oh, is it in India?
Nope.
Or
India,
where?
we can drive.
We saw.
Or where is it?
Where do you guys think it is?
We saw you.
There was an article about it, right? Yeah. Saudi Arabia. Exactly. Arabia Saudita or Arabia Saudia, or in English, yeah, Saudi Arabia. Just the flipping in from the Spanish, right? Yeah, that's the only country in the world that currently does not allow women to drive.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy situation, but they are an exception. We see so many times exceptions to the rule in English. They are an exception to every rule in the world. In Saudi Arabia, really very.
They are not allowed to drive.
Nope, women cannot drive there.
But if they go to another country or live in another country, as you told us in this class, they drive. They will drive.
They do, yeah. They can't drive in their home country, but they drive everywhere else when they leave. Yeah. I think Saudi Arabia is a good country for you, Marcelo, because you don't want women to drive, right?
Yeah, we live there.
Good luck, man. Good luck. It's not a very fun place. Yeah, depending on whatever the definition of fun. You know, I shouldn't say it's not fun. Maybe it's fun for some people.
Have you been there?
I was born there.
Yeah,
I was born there, so it's kind of a crazy situation.
How long did you live there? How long time did you live there?
I lived there just 3 years, actually.
Okay, just short time.
Yeah. I came here when I was 3, so I don't remember anything really. I just have pictures.
And then 3 years, it was enough to not want to come back again.
You know,
Would you come back there if you have a
No,
chance?
no, 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 no. I would not, because really they wouldn't really treat me very well if I go back. You know,
Oh yeah.
you have to satisfy their qualifications to be respected. So
Okay.
it's a different kind of society. But yeah, so Saudi Arabia is the only country ECA, but you know there are other traditional societies, right, that surround Afghanistan and those places. But honestly, like I'm trying to think. This actually might be a very new thing because Central Asia, the other countries nearby, not the Arab countries. The Arab countries have a lot of money, right? So like Dubai and those countries, they can make the world's largest water park that floats on a plane, that sits in the sky, that you can have a dance floor that comes out of the ground, right? I mean, they are doing the most crazy things when it comes to technology. Tallest building, biggest stadium, fastest car, everything is in Dubai. But in the Central Asian countries like Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, right? All the stans, right? We make fun of them by calling them all the stans, right? These were all actually Soviet republics, I think, right, Gregory, before?
Yes.
Yeah, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, right? Out of all of those stans, and Afghanistan was also actually part of the Soviet Union for a few years, right?
It's
Or,
not right.
oh, did we? But you guys invaded though, right?
Yes, it was a big war about Afghanistan, but it never was Soviet.
Oh, okay. I get it. Yeah, sorry about that mistake. Yeah, so there was a war there, and I guess they were trying to take the country, but they weren't able to.
Soviet
Dubai.
tried to make it satellite, but not there.
Fantastic. Yeah, so they were trying to settle Afghanistan, but they weren't able to.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
But before all these countries and stands, they have a different religion. They are not.
No, it's Muslims.
Yes,
Yeah, they're all Muslims. Yeah.
Yeah, even when they belong to the Soviet Union.
Gregory, yeah, I don't know. Go ahead.
Yes, it's belong to Soviet Union,
And
now it's separate countries.
but they always were how do you say Islamic countries.
Yes.
Yeah. I think they have a different religion.
But under the Soviet Union, religion was suppressed a little bit, right? Your loyalty was to the country or to. I mean, this is what I've heard, Gregory. Honestly, I've read the American version of Soviet history, which may be very wrong, right? We learned that in the Soviet Union, religion was not very important. So they actually, even though the people were Muslim people, they didn't actually practice Islam during that time, during the Soviet period. It wasn't popular. It was, your loyalty was to, your party, your loyalty was to the Kremlin in Moscow. You didn't worry about religion, But then, go ahead, yeah, Gregor, I'm sorry.
Exactly, you're right. But common people, despite that, believe in the God and make the tradition underground.
So it still survived then, looks like, Liliana. The religion still survived underground, yeah. Even during the Soviet time. But yeah, I'm really excited, The other stans, those countries really don't have anything. I mean, in terms of, I think, new innovation. Maybe they have water parks, but this is the first time I'm hearing about something like this in one of those stan countries. So maybe it's going to be something new for them. Anyway, guys, almost at the end of class, I wanted to ask, does anybody have any questions about comparatives or the stuff we looked at, or any of the other things that we looked at in this class?
Nope.
I have one question. If I want
yes,
to compare, if I want to compare the color between two things. Can I use the same rule? For example, this pen is more red than that pen, or this pen is redder than that pen.
Very good question.
Mm-hmm. Tricky question.
Eka, in common conversation, we can use either of those options.
Okay.
Both of them are perfect. I would say most people would actually say redder.
Okay.
I think people would say redder, yeah.
So,
Because red is an adjective, right? So we can say redder, but it would not be a mistake to say more red. Or actually, Eka, it might even be better to say this is a darker red.
okay.
A darker red or a lighter red. Right? So when you talk about colors, dark and light, right? So use those as the adjectives, right? This is a darker red, this is a lighter red, you know? Exactly. So that would be, I think, a good way to think about it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. It was I apologize for my
That's
because
okay.
I was thinking
I'm trying to think.
it was not against you, Eka. It was just me against English. As oh, come on, English. You know.
Furkan is the funniest teacher at the Colinga.
Yeah, I am the funniest teacher on Colingo. Exactly. Right. I love that. Okay, guys. Well, another funny class is starting. Yeah, so you guys can join. Okay.
Okay, bye
Okay,
bye.
thank you.
Awesome, guys. Have a
Thank you for
great
the
night.
lesson.
Take care, guys. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Bye bye. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
Hey, Heidi. How's it going?
Hello, nice to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you. How's life?
Yesterday and today I needed to go to the Chris already mentioned. No, therapist changed my cast. Before my cast was covered over my elbow.
Uh-huh.
Then my elbow angle was fixed and in right angle, right?
Uh-huh. Right angle. So it's like this, right?
Yes, that's right. Always.
Right angle is like that, like an L.
For 4 weeks. And yesterday he changed my kind of bandage cast. Now we can see the elbow, so I can bend and stretch my elbow, but very painful.
Nice, that's good. So he fixed your cast, so now it's going to be. Is that going to make your? Is that going to expedite how quickly it heals, or will it just be? Is it something for your comfort? I guess. Like, what's the benefit of changing the angle? I actually don't know.
I can.
So that's great. That's great. And hey, Gregory, how's it going?
Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello, Farhan. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you as well. It's been a long time.
I was in vacation
Where'd you go?
a lot.
Oh, in the south, right?
Yes, it's great sea.
Hmm. The Red Sea, yeah, the Red Sea has a lot going on. Very beautiful part of the country, I think.
Yes, it's coral reef, coral reef in the sea.
Hmm. That's awesome. Do you guys hear an echo? Is it from me, guys?
Yes, I hear an echo, but I don't know
I'm
where it
sorry, I already
comes from.
mute myself.
I'm sorry?
I always mute myself, so it's not my computer.
Yeah, I don't know whose it is, guys. Let me mute myself very quickly.
Hello, Tess. I can still
Yeah,
hear the echo.
Eka, I think it might be
Maybe
your,
you are.
yeah. I'm not sure though. It's okay right now. It's not a problem for me, but maybe later on, we might need to change it, Eka. Maybe if you refresh or something like that.
It's anywhere. Before,
Oh, okay.
for example, I can't scratch my back like that.
Oh, okay. I see. So it allows,
Mm.
yeah, it allows you to be a little bit more mobile.
But elbow and around this muscle is very painful now.
Hmm. Because it was not moving for so long, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's understandable. I know sometimes that happens, but it's good that you have a clinic nearby that can help you out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Eka, how's it going?
Hi, it's going good. Today is my Saturday, so I plan to go and eat some grilled shrimp with my wife after
Uh-huh.
this lesson.
Fantastic. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, right?
Yes, it's 9 o'clock in the morning.
Nice. You guys are exactly 12 hours switched from us. So
Oh,
we are,
so
yeah.
so it is 9 in the evening in New York.
Yeah, in Madison. I'm in Madison,
Oh, Madison.
Wisconsin.
Okay.
Yeah. No worries. It's actually 10 p.m. in the evening in New York right now. So they
Okay.
are 11 hours, yeah, difference. Or I should say 13 hours maybe. I don't know. One of the two. Um, oh, okay. Thanks, Eka. Oh, I still hear it. One sec.
Hello? Is hello? Yeah,
Yeah, I hear
I
it.
can still hear it.
I still hear it. Yeah. So, Gregory, could you please check real quick if it's echoing from yours by any chance?
I mute myself, okay?
Hello? Okay. No echo now.
Yeah, I didn't hear it that time.
I also
Yes.
don't hear it.
Yeah. So, Gregory, I think it might be your machine uh, that's echoing. Not sure, but let's see. Uh, okay. So anyway, guys, sorry about that little technical difficulty. Uh, Gregory, if you close the window and you come back, if you log back in, maybe the echo will go away, right? Okay, guys.
Okay, I tried.
Okay, fantastic. I don't hear it right now, which is good. So hey, Liliana, how's it going?
Hi, Farhan.